Welcome back. At the end of the previous part, Herlock Shlom's got a new client. Mrs. Vigil here, Evie Vigil. Question is, does she remember us? Because I remember her. She was a juror, one of the previous trials, so let's have a converse with her. Nothing about the trial. Alright. Mrs. Vigil. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh, there we go. Oh my. Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. Yes, juror number 2. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. What? Pardon? He did do it. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was, frippery, really, nothing more. Now look at what you've started, Mr. Shlomes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Dear, oh dear. Right, Mr. Vigil. Tell us about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, my daily vigil. Oh dear, he is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman by appearance, at least. Harsh. For how long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh. Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Shlomes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. Oh, okay. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What does he do? What does he do? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warden at the prison. Okay. A guard. That is somewhat unusual. Okay. So, your husband is a prison warden? That's right. Yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. The chief? Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warden certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? And at such times he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other wardens. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbours. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Shlomes. Barclay? Really? Barclay, oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Yes, that wouldn't, yeah, Lowgate. Like, Lowgate Cemetery. No. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court? That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Shlomes, I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence. Can it? Not in these games, no. What? Right, your husband's disappearance. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. Him not to make any contact for a whole day. That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly. Whatever can have happened? My dear Miss Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally. But sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Shlomes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. Yeah, you want rent, we got it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put this sweet rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Shlomes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Photograph of Mr. Vigil has been entered into the court record. Thank you. Now allow me to show you the door. It's a lovely door. No, I can't thank you enough, Mr. Shlomes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think you're every time early. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course. But then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent! And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. The professor. And now a warden from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. So very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you gonna go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. Ready. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was quite a different matter. Hold on. That was a quite different matter. Okay, yeah. I was just like, hold on, I read that the wrong way. And then my mind was like, wait, does that make sense? Like, yeah, they both make sense. English is weird. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Of course you are. Alright, converse is done. Let's move on over to a new location. Haven't been here yet, have we? I'm rather excited about it. Yes. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its four high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. That's a hell of a clock! Hey, what the hell? 1st of November, Barclay Prison, governor's office. Hey, I've got a scar on my head. This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was doon here. Doon? Doon, you say? And you didn't want to talk to an inmate but to me. Hello? Do you ken who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caidan, Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easter, I say. What does that mean? Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. He's on about the cemetery. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be so direct, but... I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you, suspicious-looking Easterners. And now get out of me here. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at the prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known. You're sniffing around about that case, aren't you? The agents, aren't you? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. Get on with you, before I punch your lights out. We're going. So that's sort of thing, like, I can't place where his just from the text where his accent is meant to be. It's got a bit of Scottish, a bit. It's northern. It's northern. Whether it's, you know, as far north as Scotland, I don't know. So it's like the use of the word Ken. It's hard to place at the moment. But we're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. I'm not going to get anywhere here unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Caidan. What are you thinking, Miss Suzuto? I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. Right, and my feeling is Waterloo, do Waterloo. Right, hello. Is anyone else around? Nope. Have a word with you then. That's Professor Mikotaba over there. Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. Where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country today. Goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caidan, you mean? So it is the same man. Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That'd be wonderful, if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable setting. Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotabas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your own thoughts? Fair point. Probably a mix of both. Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully, when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Why is there a bit ripped off the corner? Ah, thank you. Letter of introduction has been entered into the court record. Good luck then. Okay, I want to... So I've had a few things recently. I want to look at this. Got anything here we can... I'm assuming this is a top because there's no like zip or buttons down the middle there. It's just weird that it's got no sort of like lining around the edge. Very strange, very strange. Don't see anything particularly special or anything in the photo. Got two buttons. Nothing there, right. But why is there a bit... Ah, blackbird line. Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin 001. Yokohama departure, 11th of September, London arrival, 1st of November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotaba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. Why would it bother calling in at Dunkirk before going to Dover? Thinking about it. Like, Dunkirk's not that far away. Like, really, it really isn't. It wouldn't take that long to get to Dover. Couple of hours at most. Even back then, we're not talking like it's like, well, with modern stuff, yeah. It's like, no, it would like, it takes a couple of hours to swim across the channel. So... I don't know, this seems a bit strange. Do you think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Burya? Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Alright. Details have been updated. Tell us what it is, but why the corner? That's the bit that gets me. Professor Mikotaba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish you'd at least call you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. Okay, so we don't know anything about like the corner being ripped off yet. Unless that's just ripped off to be like, hey, this ticket's been used? Maybe it's that case? Like, you know how they like stamp it or puncture it? We got like puncture machines over here. They put a hole through it. Okay, let's go back to the prison then. Alright, move on over. Governor's office. Alright then, mate. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caidan. What's this then? You can't pull the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotaba. That young jock from the forensics laboratory. That Mikotaba. Jock? Yes, exactly him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotaba's daughter, Susato. Jings? The young man's daughter? Jings? And you didn't anything to mention that before? I do apologise. Oh, well, you best take your seat in. Offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? Oh, is that dog biscuit? Or is it just a biscuit in the shape of cuffs? Oh, well. And didn't I forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits? I think he's meant to be Scottish, but again, I still don't know which region of Scotland. And it's not got enough of it to, like, trigger my, mix, for those who know. There's not enough going on in the dialogue for it to trigger it, thankfully. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. So then, what can I do for you? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your wardens, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. No? I haven't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh. But how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, the Chief Warden. Eh? Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? Aye, of course. Alright then, well I'm gonna go presenting stuff first. Like, hold on, the photo of him. It's gotta be nothing. Governor Caidan, would you have a look at this? Wouldn't you rather have a wee handcuff biscuit? Oh, no, thanks. I'd rather just rather you just cast your eyes over this. Or maybe you'd prefer real handcuffs, eh? No, Neither for me, please. Lovely offers, though. Och. He did an och. Och. Anyway, converse. Chief Warden Vigil. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the Chief Warden here at the prison. Aye, he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warden. Sorry, did you say was? Aye. He does no work here no more. He left the job. Oh my. When was this exactly? Hello. There's a question. When was it about? Can it have been much less than 10 years ago now? 10? Hold on. What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago. Hey, as I mind it. You know, Ken, I haven't heard these fellas' name in all that time. I have to worry if he's gone missing, though. But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caidan, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Well, yeah. Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. 10 years ago. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry? A walk? Oh yeah, that's our word for it here. A walk to the gallows. An execution. It's the job of the Chief Warden to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. What did he do? I'm sorry, but can I reveal that information? But I can tell you it's very rare for a Chief Warden to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't have known about him, anything about him, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstance of his dismissal? And what would that be in? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the Professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. I'm not at liberty to answer that. I see. Okay, Professor Mikotaba. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Do you know, Ken? Yes, I can imagine. And the advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners. Still in use today. St. Sinners? That's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Mikotaba and I have to Use the ride in the carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. Aye. I'm used to sitting here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. Ugh, takes me back. I have a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course. How charming. What? He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose. Well. Can I tell you anything else? Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment before you're away, then. Sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, mind. Vigil's dismissal notice has been entered into the court record. Thank you very much, Governor Caidan. And in return, do me a favour and never come back here. Case is closed. Huh. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Schlomes and what we've found out about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Well, we'll find out in the next part, but the next part might be a bit different, might be a bit interesting, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be heading over to America. But by the time you're hearing this, I've returned, so just so you know. It's like, I'll be back in the UK being able to record like normal, etc, when this part goes out. Hopefully, you know, flights might get delayed or cancelled. There's strike action in the UK at the moment. I side with the strikers, but it may affect me in that regard. But, point being, what I want to try and do is while I'm over in America, I want to see if I can potentially record some more Great Ace Attorney 2. Very simple game, it can run on my laptop. I can record it. I can record my audio. I just need a good microphone. Sarah's a voice actor. She lives with other voice actors. They have microphones. But I have ordered my own microphone as well there. A simple one. Like online reviews say it's good. I want to see if it works well with my laptop. I want to just test. I want to see. Also depends on like the room echo and stuff. So the audio may change in quality slightly. I don't know. It's going to be a test. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to see what happens. And we'll find out in the next part whether or not I did, whether it worked out. We'll see. We'll see. I might start by talking to that parrot-looking thing. Yeah. We'll see in the next part what happens anyway. Ta-ra for now.